Hey, Tony. There she is. Welcome back. Welcome back to Football. Max Butler and Michael Holder. Mikey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, all right. I have to say that, it's 3 weeks now that we've done it the only. It's not exactly conducive to actually, putting on a show, but I'm here. I'm good. I'm good. Some shots get mixed in there. You're working the day, regulars come in, and
it's gonna be a rowdy episode, right?
No, it's been the same thing for us, like at least two. I don't think the first
one. Since you got back to the only, the closer you are, the wilder you get.
I guess we'll touch on United. There's a lot of transfer talks going around, and
it's the transfer deadline. There's always talk here.
It is. What's the date today? 25th.
Yep.
25th. So next time, by this time next week,
everything should be signed, sealed, and delivered until January.
Yeah. Or not delivered, just tossed out of the plane on the way.
Make people sweat. Certain players sweat.
Absolutely.
Some clubs do it.
Well, Tony's back. I forgot him last week.
Not by the time.
People just rag on the guy. He gets blocked off the line. Doesn't get much service. I believe Tony. Listen, you got to step it up. You do. You have to step it up. All right, you do. But it's from the podcast one. But let's see here. Sorry. New episode. Hello, everyone, for the podcast. Welcome back to Only Football, and here we are. Okay, so we're going to hop into some transfer talk. YouTubers, thanks for sticking around here. Let's go from Mbappe. I mean, 160 million was offered. 160 million euros for someone who has 1 year left on a contract.
Yep. And who wants to go to your team anyways. And why don't you just wait till next year when you can get him for free? I don't understand this at all. I really don't.
And they're hurting financially. Now, when I think of this, it's, Real is obviously in a little bit of trouble anyway when it comes to like the overall team. You could take the year off. I appreciate it. I do actually, because this shows like a winner's mentality within Real Madrid.
Yeah.
When you can compare it to certain other big clubs where it's like, oh yeah, we'll just wait and see, what happens next year, and he wants to come here, wait for him to get him on the free. They are actually, putting forth this mammoth bid, which
they don't want him going anywhere else.
They don't want him going anywhere else.
If he's saying I want to go there,
he's been saying that since he was at Monaco. yes, and I get that, but it actually does show like a winner's mentality through the club, and yes, like they might honestly be. They may be bankrupt, but they might be struggling. They're struggling along the lines of Barca. I don't think quite as bad, but they are. But when I see this, and whoever's giving Real money, whoever's investing in that team, that's an investment. Like you're putting forth a shit ton of money, but that's an investment that can pay off in dividends quite quickly. So like you'll be making that money back.
Yeah,
to a degree.
I guess, but like no, because what's his wages going to be? At least 400.
I would say at least 400, yeah, for sure.
So that's what, like
we're getting on to like 25?
25, yeah.
25, yeah.
Per year, and after 2 years, he's probably gonna want more too.
Well, they're gonna but that's after 2 years, and then like you see how that goes, and like you saw Real Madrid, you still have a solid team. You're gonna be bringing people within that time. Hopefully, you scout a little more meticulously than maybe you have in recent seasons. But you're bringing that money in. Jersey sales, actually, bringing in Mbappe will also bring in more money depending on where you finish.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we'll see.
And that is a winner's mentality, and I respect that. I don't think it's going to go through. Leonardo.
I think they're going to give it 1 year PSG, like
Neymar. Yeah, absolutely.
Like even if you get Mbappe, you don't want to be here, but just
that's like Leonardo, who is the director of football for PSG. Did make it adamant clear that Mbappe, a couple years ago said he would never leave on the free. That doesn't seem like it's actually going to happen. It does actually seem like he will leave on the free, but they are saying that we will not accept less than 200 million euros.
Yeah.
Basically what we paid for him with 1 year left on his contract. They're fine with it. They have plenty of money, and they plenty of money.
But they can get more. They can get more.
They don't care about that. They like Real, this is another team that is adamant on winning. And it's like, it's fine. Like maybe Mbappe's kind of like breaking his 18-year-old promise, as it were.
Yeah.
But he is going to stay at this team unless we get $200 million, and we're going to play with fucking Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe.
Yeah, but if you're a PSG, you sell Mbappe, you get 160 million, right? You could put Juve. We'll get into that in a bit, actually. But you could maybe put that money right into Holland.
Holland's nothing. They can get Holland. I don't think Holland's going to be.
I know, but I'm saying, why don't you take it? If you instead of letting it go for the free, take 160 million and put it right back in.
Because they have so much money and they want to win. It's like Man City. It's like Man City. Like these are owners. Like, yes, you can say they are corrupting football. I understand that, but they're both teams, City and PSG, with plenty of money that genuinely want to win.
Yeah,
they do. When you look at, let's take Arsenal and Real, like even Real, like just putting their money.
Well, they just want to win the Champions League. That's the one prize.
And they'll take.
They don't care about
it as a sideshow, fine, but they do care about it. But when you look at, like, honestly, let's take Arsenal, prime examples, owners that do not care about the club. They care about finishing top 4. That's it.
Yeah. It's a business.
It is business. Yeah. So you can knock oil and gas, PSG and City as much as you want, but they do actually care about it. Maybe there's some ulterior motive outside of sport, but
as long as they keep knocking.
That's for only politics. So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Should we go on to Kane?
That's gone to Kane, and I think it's quick and dirty. For me with Kane, it was just like after Grealish signed, and after that first bid, after Grealish signed, I wasn't even like necessarily too. I never really thought he was moving. I didn't like Dan Levy. Like really did kind of make it seem to be clear that he wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then after that first bid was rejected, I was like, all right.
He has how many years left? He has on contract?
At least 2. At least
right.
2.
Yeah, they couldn't let him go, and it maybe Daniel Levy's more powerful than we think, maybe, but
he's strong. He's always been very strong.
They have their goal should be top 4, I assume, right? That's their main goal of the season.
That's just it. I know, and that's another wasted year for Kane, because Kane, he hasn't won anything.
Yeah, but if he gets there, it's not a wasted year. Hopefully, in the next year, right?
But next season, Kane's already set the tone for me for next season. Like he will be gone.
He will be gone.
He will be gone. But I just didn't see it happen this year.
Yeah. Good for him. He came out and wrote it to the fans and let the public know.
Yep, and that's fair. I mean, shit. Who knows what happened in January? Maybe the season's not going so well for Spurs. They're like, you know what? It's time to let them go. City are making a title push. They want the Champions League as well. They want that double. And then maybe in January they could do something for maybe a few 30 million less or something.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, I think that's done. And it is done. He's declared it. But for me, it was done a couple weeks ago. I was never really getting too carried away with that. It was either Grealish or Kane. Basically, once Grealish was gone or sold to City, that was it for me. And you know what? City really haven't moved on much, in terms of like actually selling players. They sold Jack Harrison. They sold Angelino to RB Leipzig. In total, they sold someone else. In total, it's been over 40 million, and they brought in Grealish as well. That said, it's another team that will spend money ruthlessly.
Yeah.
But it would be too much. Financial fair play is still a thing. If it ever was. If it ever was. Yeah.
It's just made it more like, I don't know, the rich have got richer, I feel.
Yeah. Well, that's just that is only politics, right? One day we're coming in. Okay, let's go into, for me, which is an interesting one, which has been kind of dragging on the whole offseason. And it's died down. It picked up a lot of pace, and then it died down. And then it's picked up some pace to a degree where when it originally happened, this is Jules Koundé from Sevilla to Chelsea. I thought this was a dead on lock. Now it died down again, and now it's picked up pace where Koundé has personal terms agreed with Chelsea.
Yes.
But they haven't sorted anything out with Sevilla. And originally it was Zuma plus cash, maybe I think 20 or 25 million for Koundé. They didn't want Zuma, so that's been dead in the water, and I'm not hearing anything else in terms of what is actually happening between Chelsea and Sevilla. Yes, the deal's done with Koundé, personal agreements between Koundé and Chelsea, but I haven't heard anything else between the two clubs.
Okay.
And on the other side of the fence, staying in the Premier League in Chelsea, is Zuma going to
West
Ham for 25-30 million, which I think is in a weird way a good deal for both teams. I rate Zuma personally, but the way Zuma's been used at Chelsea for the last 4 years more or less, he's gone along with Stoke.
Yeah.
He's been in other teams. He looked really good in Lampard, and then he kind of got cut out of the teams.
He had a great start to last year.
He did.
He had 3 goals.
And he was there week in, week out, right? And then under Tuchel, it wasn't happening. And still, they are potentially managing to get at least 25 million pounds for Zuma. And it's that's how you fucking do some business when you're selling your players. You look at Liverpool, selling Rhian Brewster, Dominic Solanke, they got 40-45 million.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Shaqiri just left too, right?
To Lyon.
Yeah, 11 million.
Which is basically what they paid for him.
Yeah.
They paid for him. That's what they paid for him.
They got it back.
Yeah, they somehow got that back. They somehow got it back, and then you look at some other clubs who just cannot get it done. And I think that really starts with the wage structure. But I think the Zoom deal is good for West Ham. Things like West Ham defensively, I guess they do need some help. It seems like they have
Ogbonna and Dawson, right? Those are their wing backs are fine, Cresswell and Kufal, but their center backs, it's is Dawson really?
They made conceding.
Is he really a starting center back for a team that aspires to?
Well, they made Europa too.
Yeah, I know. To hopefully challenge fifth.
What happens if one of them gets hurt?
I know.
Who the fuck comes in? Ogbonna, I guess. Is Ogbonna playing off the flank, or is he?
No, he's the front four. Ogbonna and Dawson.
Ogbonna and Dawson.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, you said Ogbonna. You did say Ogbonna. Yeah. So you want to bring someone like that, and then I think with Koundé, Koundé can play the right back position, but he's also, for the most part, at Sevilla strictly a CB. But you watched him in France last year. Actually, 2 seasons ago, he was playing off the right, and then he faded in for Sevilla, and then he faded into the center back position. And then we saw him in France, and the one cameo he made, he started against, I think it was Portugal. Didn't go all too well for him or the team, but he started right back. So I think that actually suits Tuchel said it perfectly. You put him at RCB, right side center back, and I think
instead of Cesar, are you playing James?
Why?
What are you doing, James?
No. James is playing
the wing, right?
James is playing the wing back. James hasn't played.
Yeah, but sometimes when they play 4-2-3-1.
But they don't really play 4-2-3-1 under him.
They play 3-4-3.
3-4-2-1.
Yeah.
3-4-2-1.
Yeah, I guess.
So I think that really does suit, and it's also someone who isn't necessarily going to be completely unnerved with the fact that he's not starting match in, match out, especially based on his age and his inexperience in the PL. So you want to vet him in slowly, and then Tuchel's rotational policy.
Yeah, I know, but we'll see.
I think it's a great buy. I think it's someone who will take that spot if he let's say Tuchel stays there, which why wouldn't he at this rate? With a 3-4-2-1, I think Koundé, you say in 2 years' time, not even. I mean, I'm saying that at maximum will be the one who is right there at the RCB position.
Yeah, we'll see. But
spoke to the water. A little whiskey. Now they got thirst. I want that whiskey back.
I guess we'll close off with what you wanted to close off with. Who?
I think it fades well into our little VAR talk in a minute. Which I think we haven't spoken about VAR for too long. It's been a while.
Yeah, but that's good. But there's always VAR. There's always VAR.
But this is particularly bad. I think we can go with laying out. VAR is always VAR this, VAR that. But Mike, you have a very good comparison here, and you have a very good argument. So let's lead off with Ronaldo and his dealings.
Well, he wants to leave. He said he wants to leave. Juve valued him around 25-30. City were interested after Kane said no, but they don't want to pay his wages for the year because he's making 30 million. But now they're working to see if they can include a player swap.
I've heard some interesting player swaps, and ones that I would take about both of them.
Bernardo and Gabriel Jesus?
No, not Jesus. I heard Laporte.
Oh, but no, but we don't. We have to let. What you mean for Chiellini? We'll have 4 center. We'll have 5.
Why wouldn't you take Laporte in when Chiellini is on his way out? Like he's almost done.
Yeah, but I'm saying for this season,
That's fine.
we're gonna walk around with 4 center backs.
You want 4 solid center backs, especially if someone who's Chiellini's age, where he's based on the way he's not going to play week in week out. That's essentially 3.5 center backs.
Technically, you have 5, right? Because
That
Rugani
is-
is still there.
Okay, let's forget about that.
Talk
He had his day in the sun. Mike, that's essentially 3.5 center backs if you bring Laporte in. I think you're light there. You saw what Keelan. Listen, Keelan had great Euros, but you saw him last year. He was getting dusted.
Yeah, I know, but he's the rotational one now.
So all right, so he's the rotational third. So who do you got? De Ligt, Bonucci, Keelan, right?
Yeah, and we have
It's not Demiral.
no, he's gone.
I know he's gone. So
We still have Rugani, and Danilo sometimes plays there.
Mike,
He does. He does. When we play 3 in the back,
I think you're just enforcing my argument. I do. I think when you play 3 in the back with
Danilo is good at center back.
when you play 3 in the back with Allegri, when
He tinkers with it.
Tinkers.
He tinkers with
Tinkers.
some matchups. He tinkers.
Okay, so that's the only thing. So Keelan's old. He's old. He can get injured. Bonucci's not. De Ligt gets injured. They all get injured too. I think Laporte would be a fucking excellent pickup.
There's too many center backs, and
No, it's
we'll be
not.
paying him a lot to sit on the bench. It's like,
Sit on the bench. Laporte can fucking walk into that team.
really? He doesn't even walk in the city.
Man, that was some injuries on his part as well. But I don't think he's like complete injury prone. I think like it could be a slight
He didn't even walk in on France, so he went to Spain.
He was almost he
Yeah,
was always getting hurt.
no,
He was always getting hurt. So I will say that maybe like Laporte is a little bit too injury prone. That's the one thing I will say. He wasn't at Bilbao. It was a city that Bilbao
that
was
was
playing
years ago,
consistently.
Max. Years
It
ago.
was what 3 years ago now?
Years ago.
Was it
That's
3?
in soccer terms. That's years ago.
It is years, but it's not like was it 3 or was it 2.5? I think he came in the winter.
If he proves it on
I
City,
think Laporte came in the winter. And I
I'd
think
like to see him start.
And I think when Laporte was playing, I think especially before Van Dijk moved to Liverpool, because he was there, I think half season before. Like Laporte, it was Laporte and Van Dijk, top 2 center backs in the PL. At that time, it was a brief window. But those were the 2. And if Laporte can stay healthy, I would swap that for Ronaldo. Who's disgruntled? I would.
No. I think.
Would you take Bernardo? Because I'm fine with that too.
But he's going to play similar to Dybala, right? You're going to put him on the wing. We have Kulusevski. It's like you don't really need Bernardo right now. We don't need that type of player, right?
I think Bernardo would be good for some depth.
Chiesa
I think
and Kulu, right?
Mhm.
Cuadrado sometimes plays up, right? Because they started Danilo right back and Cuadrado. We have too many of that type of player. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
And we're going to be playing a 4-3-3.
I think Bernardo's tenacious, but he also can kind
He
of
won't be a
slow the game down.
starter.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe Bernardo's problem as well, is that I'd take him. I think he's a great player. We have Sancho now, obviously, but I think he does deserve to start somewhere. I think Atletico is, and which he's been linked to, I think is the move for him.
Oh,
If he doesn't want to stick there with City. If he doesn't want to stick with City. Yeah.
Not bad.
He's been linked there quite heavily, and I think that's actually a decent move.
Because Saul is gone, right? Is he gone?
Well, that doesn't really suit. That's not a replacement for Saul either, right? And actually, we didn't mention Niguez. I forgot to write that down. Niguez out of Chelsea United. He's basically deciding it's a loan with a buy option.
Yeah, but the Juve special.
Juve special indeed. It seems like Chelsea might be the place where he's going. And for me, just holding out hope. I don't really think it's going to happen, but I'd prefer for him to go to Chelsea because I would love Camavinga or Chumi, but I would love Camavinga.
You know, the young guy.
Man, Mike, I scouted Camavinga.
I know.
It was like in January of 2020, coming up on 2 years. Like I think he was still 16. He might have just been 17 at the time. I love him. I think he's great. And I think he can definitely play in a pivot and just do more of the defensive role, and then potentially turn into a proper CDM. But if you want to play pivot, you want to play 4-2-3-1, he's perfect.
Yeah,
he's absolutely perfect. Okay, so we just got talking from Ronaldo quickly. Let's get into a bit of a VAR topic here. Juve Roma. Mike
it was
breaks
just a
in.
VAR.
It was huge, but it was to Mike. Please.
All right. Well, Juve and Udinese, the first game. Ronaldo doesn't start. Okay. Dybala scores 3 minutes in. Okay. Cuadrado scores 20 minutes in. This should be over.
Dybala
2-0 at half.
right?
Yeah. 2-0 at half. Under Allegri, Juve's back. Shouldn't blow this lead. Blow it within. Well,
no, not within
10 minutes.
It was 2. No, it was 2. What Pereira, your boy?
It was like 57th minute. 10 minutes in the second half.
That's when it's made 2-1.
Yes.
They tied in like
80th or something like that.
Chesney.
Yeah. Well, it's an easy. Well, Chesney had a horrible game. Gave up a big rebound. Tries to get the rebound. Takes down the player. Penalty. Yellow
like
card.
An axe. Like you're ranking like an axe.
Oh, you saw it? Did you see it?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
He came out there.
Clear penalty. Yellow card. Gets scored on. 80th minute. Let's receive a pass. Try and play it out. Like no, it wasn't good. Anyways, was goal his fault again. 2-2. Wow, we just dropped the points, and we could possibly lose with the way this match is going.
Man, just play it for the corner quickly. Like he was surrounded. Like just put it for the corner.
Oh, the kick it out, or just
Yeah.
kick it out, like not in the direction, not in front of the goal. But
which was the corner? He's
yeah, I know. But
it's very important. Like that's what you expect Arsenal shit, because he's been decent for you. That was like Arsenal shit.
He's good for like 4 games, and then he has 2 bad games. And then he's good for 4 games, and he has 2 bad games. It's like it's very consistently inconsistent.
Well, the Donnarumma thing is, you guys should have gone from there.
I know, but we didn't need to address the goalkeeper right now. Like we could have upgraded. It's an upgrade. We didn't deny that, but it's like let's focus on Locatelli and let's focus. Let's focus.
When did Rom miss it? I didn't even see that.
That was early on.
Oh, she said something. I've been looking at like the numbers of viewers. I've been seeing 0 the whole time, so I actually comments. Hello, good sir.
But yeah, super sub Ronaldo comes in. Chiesa sends in a ball. Ronaldo heads it in. 94th minute. He's done it. He's won us the game. VAR offside.
That was a good header too. Get right up there.
Right.
Like it's
well, but he was offside by what, like this much?
It's the elbow too, man.
I know.
It's the fucking elbow. You talk about. I know it's the thing. It's like we're discussing VAR because you're gonna discuss.
You can't score with the elbow.
Exactly, and it's so marginal too. It doesn't change the actual pace of the game. We know what it is. Let's get into the Roma. It's bad. It's a bad call. Let's get into the Roma one.
Yeah.
It's like
2 goals.
He's basically like whoever's deciding this is basically. Hello again. There he is. Okay, sticking around. Let's see. I think he's trying to break our spirits. He's obviously here watching.
I know.
This is rude. But like it looks like in the photo, like whoever's deciding this is calling before he's released the pass, after he's released the pass.
Yeah, I know. It depends on when they think the ball is technically left his foot. That's what it goes by. And the VAR, it's weird because if you do the first photos I showed you, it's like you can clearly see the ball still on his foot. And then with the other ones, it's like I don't know if he has possession of that. Like the ones they officially called VAR when they were onside, I'm like they were off when he first touched the ball, right? I don't know how it goes. It's like when he first touches the ball, or it's like as the ball leaves his foot. Right? They got to be consistent with that because that's going to decide when they're onside or offside. But both goals were flagged for offside right away. Not right away. Let the play continue, and then the linesman decided it was offside, and then VAR overturned both of them.
Yeah, rough start, man.
But
rough
to the naked eye, it looked offside. So, like, if the linesman called it offside,
it's like a challenge in the NFL.
It's like you stand by the referee's decision, but you don't stand by the linesman's decision. So it's like, why does the ref get that much power over the linesman? It's like, don't have the linesman run up and down, right? Because if you're always going to be VAR, what's the point of that?
Man, listen, Mike, I'm telling you right now, it's a fucking fact. Refs and linesmen will be robots. Very soon.
The balls, there's going to be sensors in the balls.
Very soon.
Goal line technology everywhere, right?
Absolutely, man. It's a dead job. Klaus Schwab, leader of the World Economic Forum, has a book, and this came out like 5 or 6 years ago. And he has there's a page here, jobs going into the future, about who will be, which will be human jobs and which will be automated robotic jobs.
Yeah.
And sports refereeing is one of them.
It's one of them, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. So
by which year again?
He didn't say which year, but like there's a lot of talk of
so he's not right until he's right.
Agenda 20. This guy's pushing this thing.
I know.
This man's in charge. He's pushing Agenda 2030. Implore you to look into it. So yeah, 2030. We need to get in the XTSC money for the next 9 years. $40 a game.
Okay, maybe that's how much they get.
I was happy with 20.
But I think maybe they get 20 but they already paid registration on that. So maybe 20 is for them and 20 is for the XTSC.
That makes sense. $20 an hour for that makes
I guess.
Sense.
But both teams pay 20 though, so I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I don't know where the other 20 goes.
Okay. Well, let's look into that because I'm very intrigued. Rom, if you're still hanging around, also just get in the comments and bring us some topics if you want. We're gonna move into our locks. Our locks, which I'm 2 for 4 on or something like that. I won 0 for 1 last week technically, but my bonus was Lazio and Lazio hit. So I had United. We both had our teams last week and they both drew.
Yeah.
But I had my bonus. We're gonna make a little table soon. I had Lazio as well, but yeah, United just kind of blew up in my face this week, Mike. And this is another value bet. I'm going for another value bet. I'm going Atalanta match bet and totals over 3.5, which is paying 2.3. So Atalanta to win the match, and there are at least 3 goals in the match. Sorry, over 3.5. Sorry,
3.5.
Over 3.5. Yes, over 3.5. So I'm banking Atalanta. It's a value bet.
3.5.
Big plums bet. It's a big plums bet. Atalanta scored 3 goals, at least, and to potentially concede, if not 4.
It has to be 1.5 and higher, right?
That's 1.5. I'm for value.
How much is that?
I'm just laying on the line.
Is that 2.1?
2.3. That's it. That's all that's paying, which actually says a lot to me. What that tells me is that they like Atalanta to score at least 3 goals, and they can concede one. They're a team that will give it. They'll concede. They're gonna play open. They just want to score.
Wow,
that's what they do.
That's
I'm laying on the line.
I'm gonna stick with the EPL game. No, okay, yeah, that makes a difference. I'm staying in the EPL. I'm going with the first game of the weekend.
Yeah, is it City 7-0?
No, it is over 2.5 goals in that game. 1.6, 1.57.
Okay.
Over 2.5. I think it's either going to be a 3-0. If Arsenal scores, then I know for sure.
Yeah,
I'm hitting that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But I don't like. Even if they don't score, 3-0 City sounds about right.
We're gonna have to get into that,
right?
Well, I disagree.
That's my.
I disagree. We're gonna get into that.
2.5 is the lock for me. That game's for sure.
Well, let's fucking stick our
sure.
Let's do a bit of a review here. Let's just kind of dink around the league from last week, the PL that is, and it's like, they're just abysmal. Like, what was that on the left side of the field? None of them. They bagged 2. Like Lukaku's was a gift. James, great finish, another gift. But even between that, James broke down the left side and laid off to Mount just behind him, and Mount you can make do with it.
We were together for this game while it was playing, and we were just listening to it because we were cleaning up the cottage, and we just had it listening, and they described the same play like twice in like 3 minutes, and we're like, "Oh, did it skip backwards?" Or
are they showing the replay again? No, because it wasn't. Because it was like the commentator was. I think it was probably Martin Tyler. It was like high tempo, like it probably cut back. Right, the cottage, the Wi-Fi is crap.
Yeah,
it probably just jetted back like 10 minutes. The exact same play, 3 times, leading to 2 goals. Like mercy, man. Like Arsenal, like, and they're talking about like Saka, being fatigued, not being quite there mentally. Why is he starting then? Maybe he can do a shift to the bench. Why the fuck is he starting? If he's the one who's leaving Tierney out, Tierney gets sucked in. She didn't get sucked in the first goal, especially.
Yeah, Mount did a good job on that. Sucking him in.
Still.
No, it was horrible.
There's also no reinforcements.
It could have been 3-4-0. Leno had a huge save in the.
That was a massive save. That was a big fantasy save. When I saw that, because we were driving at that point, right? When I saw
you were facing Lukaku that week?
No, I wasn't. But it's just overall, like people have Lukaku under John did.
What?
And when I saw it, I said, it's big fantasy stuff. Let's go. Let's go. You retain that number one spot. Bring Aaron Ramsdale in. Where are they putting their money, man? Like, where are they putting?
You got to shut up today, Ramsdale.
They smacked them. They smacked West Brom today. They got 6 goals. Aubameyang hat trick. But my goodness, I don't even know his name. And we've done the scout, which I am threatening to bring back. I will bring it back.
Oh, the Anderlecht.
Poppy Sarr, actually, by the way, Poppy Sarr from Mets to Spurs, basically done.
Basically,
it is. Fabrizio, it's a.
Fabrizio
said it.
He said it might happen, or he said
it's happening. It's happening. Loan.
It's happened or happening.
It's happening.
Oh, so it's not. It hasn't happened.
Are you trying to break? Why are you trying to break balls? It's happening. It's done.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see next episode.
Hey, if it doesn't happen, fine. Maybe United can grab it. I don't care. I'm excited. I picked him up. I picked him up. I scouted him back. I found the episode. I just didn't do a post on the Instagram back in early March. I think March the 3rd. So I'm gonna repost that soon.
Oh.
And no one was talking about it. Nobody was talking about Skip. Anyway, he's going to Spurs. It's a nice pickup. This guy is very versatile. I would say, box to box, potentially fit back to CDM. He's been playing off the left as well, but I would say more so box to box. And loan option obligation, but it's not obligation. He's purchased. He's going back to Mets on loan. But the reason why I said this is because who is this kid that Arsenal brought in from Anderlecht? I'm intrigued by him, but I don't know anything about him. He's been playing pivot quite regularly, actually, preseason and up, almost game in, game out so far this season. No, Arsenal. Sorry, who?
The Lukongo?
Lukongo.
Yeah.
Lukongo. Yeah. I don't really know anything about him at all. So he's the one sign that intrigued me. But I look at Arsenal and the money they spent. Paul Segaris at least was out back. Only FC legend. And it's where's this money going? Aaron Ramsdale.
It's going to nothing. It's going to nothing. That's all that matters. They're going to nothing.
Is Arteta even asking for this? What are these signings? The fuck are these signings?
Oh, yeah, I know. But I guess we were on fantasy for a bit, so let's this week, big matchup. 2-0 against 2-0.
All right, so we're done with the review?
No.
We're done with the review? We're going to the fantasy.
Okay, yeah.
United botched it.
Oh, wait, we don't have to talk about that.
Okay, we're good. We did Arsenal Chelsea.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fantasy. So we've got our actual money leagues, which is top dog, more top 3 win money, yada yada yada. But
wait, 1 point before we go on to that.
Are you shushing me, sir?
Sorry.
Because you should.
Just
I ramble. Sometimes.
Leicester, West Ham. Do you think that was red?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It was unintentional.
It was
unintentional.
It's a red. Man, he could have snapped his ankle.
I know.
He could have snapped his ankle. You're asking me because
some people think it wasn't. Some people think. I think it was red. I know it was accidental, but the way that it was just he was off balance and I know.
He could have been out for a year.
I know.
Who was that on? Paris did too.
Fornals.
Oh, after he scored that goal.
No,
never. That was a disastrous fantasy match for me. Antonio was 2 goals and within 5 minutes, 10 minutes left. Yeah, that was disastrous.
It was bad because I didn't have Ben Rama, but now I do. I can't let that guy get away now.
Okay, so speaking of fantasy, so our only Rom, if you're still here, we got 8 boys.
Yeah, we got 8, an even number, so we did
head-to-head league. Mike and I are both 2-0.
There's 3 of us who are 2-0.
See, that's the thing. I've been good, but I've been lucky. I've been good, but I've been lucky though, because I think it was 3rd both weeks.
Doesn't matter how you win them. It doesn't matter how. It's like a cup.
3rd out of 8 both weeks, 2-0. I'm not saying I got lucky, but I've been kind of lucky because you've finished both times.
I've had the highest score each week.
Well, you can go fuck yourself. So Mike and I are playing each other. And so we're gonna do a little fantasy pick or a little
This
fantasy.
is where you beat me. You're gonna beat me this week too.
I'm
you're gonna be top of the table. I'm gonna be like that team. That team.
Okay, so let's start with the captain. Our captain sadly picks. We'll start with the captain. For me, Jack Grealish. I don't have. It's the first player I don't.
Jack Grealish.
Jack Grealish against Arsenal. Against Arsenal.
He always does well against them.
Torched them last year. He was injured for the second leg, and Villa still won 1-0. That first game, that first matchup, I think it was at the Emirates. Actually, it was. At Emirates. Not that it matters. There's no fans. I'll grant them that. Pumped. 2 minutes in, 9 minutes. I think he had an assist that got called back. McGinn. Yeah. And then he wound up scoring or getting an assist. I think. No, it was an assist because Watkins bagged the brace. Right?
Yeah, I think it was 2 assists.
Torched him, and I was on City. Come on.
That's
Jack Grealish, my captain.
Really, I'm going with your boy, Mikel Antonio. They're facing Palace, right?
I don't hate it.
They're gonna smash them. Palace. I know you don't have them, and they'll upset you, but he's in form. He's in form. I hold him for a clean sheet. Hopefully, they can hold a freaking clean sheet because I have Kufal, and he would have had an assist and a clean sheet, but it couldn't. It was such a scrappy goal too, man. I was so mad. Oh, all these points. I'm 15 points back, and it's 2 weeks in, and I'm doing well. That's what's scary.
I'm 30 points back. I'm doing okay.
There's a lot.
I'm not worried though. I'm not worried.
And Antonio, I'm continuing the trend. I'm riding the form.
Okay.
He's gonna score for sure.
My sadly is some of them who I'm bringing in. Brought him first before the week reset for fantasy. Jack Harrison. They're playing Burnley.
The Jacks, captain and Zappy.
Yeah, actually, didn't think about that, but yes. Not only did he come up a brace yesterday in the EFL Cup against whoever the fuck they won, like 3 or 4. I think they won 3-0. And then he bagged 2 late ones, like 80th on. He scored twice. I think it was actually 0-0 for a while. But that said, against Burnley last year, I believe 2 goals and assists, and Burnley's off to a rough start. I've got them to get relegated. And the one thing that does kind of worry me is that, Helder Costa is still a decent bench player. And the fact that Harrison did play 90 minutes against whoever they played in the EFL Cup does kind of dissuade me, but not really, especially after he begs the brace. So, Jack Harrison, I'm with him all the way.
Yeah. That was a late 3-0 win, too.
It
wasn't convincing. So, it was a grueling 90 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, it's possible.
But
it could bite me in the ass, yeah. They do have a nice stretch of matches afterwards. I think they play Spurs, Liverpool, or something next week. But then after that, they have a nice stretch. So I'm going to hold on. Okay. 6 million.
I'm going to Aston Villa for mine and El Ghazi.
Okay.
They're facing.
Come on, Mike.
Brentford. I think there's a penalty in that game, man. There's a penalty.
Mm-hmm. And if he's starting his own.
There's definitely a penalty in that game. I'm telling you.
Why? It's a feeling?
I don't know. I think
it's a good feeling.
Danny Ings is going to just draw a penalty, and then he's the penalty shot taker now. Okay. And I think he's going to have a good game. I think he has 2 goals.
I will respect the gut feeling until it's proven wrong, in which case I will clip this and I'll show it next week.
Okay. You can show Jack Harrison if he doesn't even suit up.
Comes off the bench, goes a brace.
No, he's not Salah. He's not like Salah. I hate it when Salah did that. Assists.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, get into the.
Let's do the preview. Let's go chronologically and with the most boring matchup out of the preview.
Yep.
City and relegation candidates. Arsenal, 19th place. Paul, Arsenal fan. John and I are at the bar, and Paul comes in and he's like, "We're in 19th place." I'm like, who the fuck are you ahead of? And then I was reminded that Norwich have been utterly getting spanked after their rough start. I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. But City just beat 20th place Norwich 5-0, and now they're playing 19th place Arsenal. How bad, Mike? You're calling what?
3-0.
You're calling 3-0?
3-0.
I still think it's going to be tight. I think Arteta. I think Arsenal are going to this game like we're City. Like they're going to actually play properly. Like they're playing City. I think they're actually going to play like a 19th place team. I think they're going to sit back and hope to send the break. Like, honestly, if City...
you think they're not? No, Arteta's not going to do that.
Why wouldn't he? No, he has to. He doesn't have the talent. He doesn't have the know-how. What else can he do? I actually think this is like
frustrating. It's going to be as an Arsenal fan watching that game if they play like that. Just hold on.
No, that's all they can do. It's not going to be frustrating. It's like,
they're going to try.
It's going to be nerve-wracking. It's going to be nerve-wracking. Like, let's see if we can get to the point.
20 minutes in.
It's going to be exactly. It's going to be crushing. It's not going to be frustrating.
And then it's crushing.
No, because honestly, if you're Arsenal, you attack that game like you're Burnley playing Liverpool at Anfield. Even if you go down 1-0, in the 20th minute, you still sit back like you did for the first 20 minutes, and then you hope to be within striking distance in the last 15 minutes. You do, dude. They're done. There's not enough talent, and there's not enough. The mindset's not there.
Lacazette will be back. They're gonna try and play not attacking football, but they're gonna try and play Arteta football, right? And it's gonna bite them in the ass. They're not gonna play like Burnley.
If you're thinking that,
this game is gonna go exactly how everyone.
It went 1-0 last year. There was one early fixture between them where it went 1-0. I forget how the second one went. I'm gonna go 2-0. I do think, Mike. If I think that right now and it happens, you owe me $200 for nothing. Anyway, it's I'll go 2-0 City. I do think he needs to smarten up as well. Like, he's not in. See, the one thing with Ollie is that, Ollie can be frustrating. Like last week, I think he should have gone absolutely. Like, Pogba should have been dropped into the pivot, for example, and Martial should have played up off the left and Greenwood up top and Sancho on the right, just for example. But Ollie does tactically, especially in these big matches, have success, and that's also by sitting back and like recognizing like our team's just not quite up to snuff. Arteta and Arsenal are below that. They're below United. He needs to make that adjustment. I think he needs to make that adjustment because if they get shelled, I think there's a loss. I think there's forgiveness for loss for them here. But if they get shelled, then maybe if they lose like 5-0, even 4, 3 is like, all right, lost 3-0.
But 3-0 is what you expect out of this game.
No, I think he's going to
You're expecting 3-0, but you're like,
I think he's going to. No, I'm not.
You're giving Arteta a bit more. Like,
I think he's going to keep it really tight. I'm going to 2-0.
Game over 2.5.
Wager?
You're going against my lot.
Our scorelines wager.
Oh, what if it's 3-1 then no one wins?
No, yeah, 3-0 versus 2-0.
Oh, okay. Go on.
20?
Oops, sorry. I hit this. This is bad luck. It's going to happen now. I hit it while we were shaking, and the bad luck is going to come.
It's going to come. And I'm wondering when I say it's coming, a better photo. I know it's going to work out. Okay. Okay, on to an interesting matchup. Everton-Brighton. Brighton at home.
2-0 Brighton.
2-0 Brighton. 4 points Everton. Both haven't been. I would say for Brighton, they've been tested nice. Both haven't been tested 2-2.
No. No. I'm saying Everton. No.
They both intrigued me. I liked them. I liked Brighton last year. I did. And they just didn't quite hit the heights. I think there's more time to embed Graham Potter, who's a really solid manager. I would also suggest you find Graham Potter's brother's tweet, which his brother. I think I sent it to you there.
I didn't realize who it was.
So Graham Potter's brother, maybe it's Andrew Potter, tweeted, you hear about the Nice, what was the Nice Marseille? They had like a massive brawl. The match got postponed. And he's like, did you hear about that? And then Graham Potter apparently replied, whenever I think about OGC Nice, it just reminds me of a stick man wanking it on its side. So if you turn OGC sideways, vertical, looks like a stick man wanking.
I didn't realize it was Graham Potter's brother.
Apparently so. Could have been a tweet, but regardless, it is true.
You have to look at it yourselves.
Anyway, a little off topic. Back to Everton, Brighton, and I've only seen highlights from Brighton. I like the core they have. I do think there's a little choppy and changing. They brought in Mbappe from RB Leipzig, which was an interesting sign for me. He got subbed off at halftime in the first match against Burnley. They come back. I don't think he started against Watford, and he did start today or yesterday in their EFL Cup match.
Slowly working again.
But I do think that there's just a lack of knowing who's going to start here. And when it comes to a club of Brighton's ilk, I think that's kind of going to be their downfall. There's a couple injuries in there as well. Everton rested their team really nicely as well in their EFL Cup match, respectively. So I think the quality and talent and just the experience of Rafa Benitez is going to get Everton off to another hot start. I'm going to go for an Everton win. I'm going to go 2-1 Everton. And
you
7
believe
points.
Benitez?
7 points for Everton. 7 points for Everton. Although they haven't been entirely Leeds on the road is a good test too.
Yeah, Leeds on the road, and it's their first game in 17 years.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
So, that's a good result. And then they had to lead twice. They had to lead twice.
Yeah, so
it's going to be hard to defend that. It was going to be hard to defend that.
Yeah.
I can forgive them for it. And yeah, I think they've been okay. I'm good for Everton.
Yeah, they this game just just screams tie. 1-1. I don't know why. I can't really explain it. Brighton's off to a great start. Everton's not a pretty good start too, but I don't know. I think this is a new Brighton team, and a lot of people are picking them to do well this year.
Yep,
aim for top half, around 10th.
And then Graham Potter leaves next season
to go. Yeah, pretty much.
To go to Arsenal.
Arsenal.
I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind it either.
Yeah, I was an Arsenal fan.
At this stage.
So Mike, let me ask you this. Okay, so a couple years ago, when Guy and I first started doing this, that's when Emery was on the block, right? And I was like, who would you pick? And would you agree that this is?
Good night. Have a good night, Ram.
See you, Rob. Would you agree that? No, not to say would you agree, but when Emery was on the block, Eddie Howe was, to me, kind of the Graham Potter of now.
Okay.
And I was like, if I'm an Arsenal fan, and it was Everton. No, it was fucking Everton. It was when that fraud that left Watford. What the fuck's his name? He's on Fulham now. Is it Silva? Is it Silva? The man.
Oh, yes.
Marco Silva?
Yeah.
Fraud. Absolute fraud. And I was like, who would you come to replace? And Everton fans were like, no, we're too good for Eddie Howe. Do you see like kind of like a similar style? No. Progressive. Not a manager with obviously massive success because they've been a lower club, but Eddie Howe, Graham Potter. If you're Arsenal, would you take either?
No. If I would only take if Brighton come top 10,
then he's earned it.
Yeah. To go from Brighton, how long ago did they come up? 3 years ago?
I want to say it's 3 now.
Even though they didn't do particularly well in the league, the style of football they played was good, and it was exciting to watch. It gave some teams struggles for periods of time. Even when they were losing, there were still 20 minutes, 30 minutes where they were the better team, and they just couldn't score.
Do you remember what I assume remembers last season?
United?
Chelsea first. I think they played quite well in that match.
Oh, yes.
And then United, they utterly dominated.
They hit 3 posts. They are 2 posts.
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3 posts.
I think it's 3.
But I think they're going to play well. I think Everton are going to struggle. And I just has 1-1 tie. I don't think either team will win. They'll just duke it out. But they'll just score each, but they won't win. No team. Just gut feeling.
Okay.
Gut feeling.
Was it 1-0?
1-0.
Okay.
1-0.
All right.
If I had to pick a winner, I'd pick Everton.
Sure. Okay, but no, home crowd too. For Brighton, that is. Okay, let's wrap it up with Liverpool-Chelsea. Liverpool back in the.
Was this the third
big match?
Week game last year too? Because Chelsea and
it was
Liverpool,
early, and then
like
Werner drew the penalty, and then Jorginho missed it.
Yes,
It was around there.
I think it was the third or fourth. I think it was the third week again.
It's the same thing, like, for me, like my birthday is October 26th, and then the weekend prior, always a big match for me. Always. Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's Liverpool this year.
Unless if they lose, right?
Yeah. Okay, Liverpool, Chelsea, Anfield. I was kind of struggling with this, and then I think I'm gonna maybe go against the grain. I don't know. Liverpool's at home, and to me, that's it's a deal. It's a deal breaker for me. If I looked at it with no fans, I'd be taking Chelsea no matter where the hell they were. But I don't know. I just don't know. See, the thing is, Liverpool is at home, and they'll get the crowd behind them. But Chelsea's been set. Chelsea's been set for the last half, three-quarters of a year now. Under Tuchel, and Liverpool's kind of bringing it back defensively, especially. It's and yes, they have 2 clean sheets, but it's against Norwich and Burnley, and even against Burnley, both Norwich and Burnley had very good chances to score.
Would it be easier if I said my scoreline first?
No, let me sweat this out. You can talk though. You talk. Okay, don't say the scoreline, but talk.
Of how I think the game's gonna go.
Yeah, just break down, but don't really allude to the fact of who you think's gonna win. Just kind of build it up a little bit.
I have to build it up like a story, eh? I'm just a guy who just comes right out there with, well, not with gut feeling, but this game is going to be won. Okay, the team that loses this is still going to finish ahead of the other team in the standing when the year's done.
I agree.
So
you're saying Chelsea. You're saying Chelsea's going to finish ahead.
But Liverpool's winning this game. Liverpool is winning this game with a home crowd. And you know why? Because although Chelsea are the better team, Tuchel hasn't found out his 11 yet. He hasn't tinkered with enough. He's still going to test it out, and I think he still has time to test it out with the quality.
But I think this is a good game to actually find out who your 11 is.
Yes.
And he has an idea.
He has an idea, but his idea now isn't going to be the same as his idea in January.
Rich James is starting, right wing back.
He might do a 3-4-3, right?
Lukaku's going to start. 3-4-2-1.
Liverpool are winning this game because
Mason Mount's going to be huge. Mason Mount's going to be absolutely.
They have a crowd again. And until you beat them with the crowd, I'm going to pick them with the crowd. Mm-hmm. And now they got everyone healthy back. I know Klopp doesn't have his 11 set yet, but the front three.
Man, I'm bouncing. Okay, so
BVP back. So I know he's not back, but
before I checked to see who was at home, I had 2 on Chelsea. Then I saw who was at home. It's but the more I think about it, it's Chelsea's just a little more set, and that defense, this is their first test. This is their first test since a healthy defense. I'm going 2-0.
2-0, high scoring affair.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0.
It's going to be a matchup.
I've dragged myself away from it. Exactly what I thought was going to happen was 1-0. Chelsea Tuchel special. I'm going 2-0.
2-0, eh?
Yeah.
Tuchel's going to let in 2 goals.
It's that crowd.
But they have enough to get back, eh? To claw 2 back.
I think Chelsea's the one that's going to tie it.
I think Liverpool's going to get it. It'll be 1-0 Liverpool, then 1-1, and then 2-1 Liverpool. It's going to be, and you know what's going to make it worse? It's going to be like Alexander-Arnold scoring the winner, and it's going to be like everyone in fantasy has him. He's going to get the 3 bonus star, and I'm going to be like, no.
Mike's not going to be sleeping well till mid next week. He has to build himself up and just think about the fact that someone's going to fucking nail his shit, and then secondly, he's got to sleep it up.
Do you have Alexander Arnold? You don't have Alex. No. Okay, good.
No, I don't. Okay, guys. Good timing because the owners just walked in and smiling. And we love him. We love him dearly. But yeah, we're all done. So let's do a little tour. So you guys have a great night, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.